Ladies and gentlemen, mutants of all ages, welcome once again to Fulton Street Beats. It is time to let down your hair, kick back, grab yourself a cup of coffee or a little something harder if you prefer, and let's have a conversation about what's going on here at Fulton Street Beats. Got quite a bit going on, and all of it is not good, unfortunately. But I try to make the best of it, and that's what we will do. If you are new here at Fulton Street Beats, thanks for tuning in. It's much appreciated. And if you are not so new, thanks for returning. It is also much appreciated. I love the feedback from each and every one of you, as long as it is not asinine. And every channel gets those people, but we get rid of those people quickly. So, what's going on here at Fulton Street Beats? I don't know where to start. If you watched a video, I just unboxed my new Ludwig Breakbeats Sierra Swirl kit that I really, really like a lot. I have since recut the bearing edges like I said I was going to do, even though I didn't need to because I am using it as an electric kit. I did the conversion, and a couple days we'll go over that conversion so I can show you exactly what I did and how I did it. And it's really simple, really easy. As far as cutting bearing edges goes, you guys, if you want to try it sometime on an old kit, get yourself a table router. It's really not that hard. Just make sure you got some sharp bits, a nice flat surface to do some big Tom sanding on and make sure they're level. And you too can have an amazing sounding acoustic kit. Now I did this because I'm going to use this both ways as a hybrid kit. Sometimes take the heads off and use it as acoustic, and sometimes put the mesh heads on and use it as a electric. So get that out of the way. But there's lots of things that go along with these kits when you're trying to, I'm new. I am not going to lie. I'm new to the world of the electric drum kit, but I am quickly learning. And as with anything in life, you learn quickly that there is a lot of know-it-alls and a lot of things are set in stone and things that cannot be done. And if you know me here at Fulton Street Beats, you'll know that I think outside of the box and I do things that normally isn't done with the status quo. And that's just how I like to do things. This kit, we started out, if you followed the channel, with a Roland VAD 306 with a TD17 module. And if you would have asked me a few months ago what a VAD 306 and TD17 module was, I would have just had question marks above my head. However, now I'm getting my feet wet and understanding things, and as with anything, I understand how things work, and some things don't make sense to me, so I test the boundaries and I test the theories. What I have found with the Roland VAD 306, first of all, is the trigger plates can come out with a slight little modification, and you can drop them into other toms, provided that they are the same size diameter. And you can drop them in acoustic toms, and then you have an acoustic drum kit. I have some on that a few videos back where I actually demonstrated that and got better response than I did with the shells of the VAD 306. What I've also discovered is the world of drum triggers. And while we will be experimenting with all kinds of different drum triggers, and hopefully I can get my hands on a Yamaha trigger soon. Right now, I'm working with the Roland, the RRT 30 series, and we got the kick, and I have a single on the floor tom. I have a double trigger on my snare and a double trigger on my rack tom. And they did require getting into the module, and even though the module has a setting for these triggers, the TD17 has a setting for these triggers. I found that they're just way off. So I had to get in and fine tune a bit. I'm still fine tuning a bit. And as I go and I progress and I still want that acoustic drum feel, and now I have the acoustic drums and the ability to play them due to these amazing triggers that give me the ability. Now I'm missing the realism of the real cymbals. So while the crashes aren't bothering me too much and the hi-hat, because they are quiet in the room, what really was bothering me is the articulation that I could get with the sticks, the articulation feel that I would get in the sticks of a nice 18, 20-inch ride cymbal. So I started looking into other triggers and what I could do to mount on a regular cymbal and what I could do to mute the cymbal. So let's move along and let's talk about something here if I can find it. These are edge cymbal mutes. I've never used them before. In all my years, I've never used these things before, and they sit on the edge of your cymbal and they mute. They'll even mute a regular cymbal, but I bought these in a pack. I think they were like $8, and I got, let's see, we got in here, we have haven't even opened them all. Got them on eBay. You can find them in various places, but eBay is about the cheapest, and I wasn't expecting much for the price, but I wanted to try them. So we got a 20-inch. We have a 14-inch. We have a 16-inch, and then we have this, what's out right now is the 18-inch. And they work quite well. And actually, they're pretty well solid, elastic. Like, they're very elastic, but they're very, they take a pounding. I've been playing the edge pretty hard and on this one, and it doesn't seem to be wearing at all. But I also, what this goes on is I started looking into mute cymbals and started looking, so I just wanted to go with one that actually worked and had some articulation and sounded decent, even if it wasn't muted, if that makes sense. And I didn't know where to start or where to turn because I'm not used to mute cymbals. Another thing that I am very new to. I've never used a mute cymbal. I've never had the need. But now that I've went to this electric kit and trying to keep the noise down and please the neighbors, if you will, I ended up going with this. This is a Zildjian mute cymbal, low volume. This is an 18-inch, and you can see all the holes drilled in it here. And I pulled it out of the box, and it looks decent. It looks decent, but it's really articulate. I mean, there's still sound to it. It's not quiet. I mean, it's a lot quieter than a regular cymbal, definitely. But it's not quiet. And honestly, it sounded so good that I said, boy, when I mic these, if I'm ever out playing and I want to put a mic on one of these, it's going to sound good because it's really articulate. I mean, it was kind of surprising. I wasn't expecting that. And I don't know if a lot of people do that or not, or have even thought of doing that, but I wouldn't be afraid to use this in a gigging situation where you want it a little bit different of a sound. I mean, it's a good sounding ride cymbal. It's just muted, but it's very articulate. I really enjoyed that. So how do we make this an electronic cymbal? Well, I wanted to mute it even farther, and that's what the purpose of this was. So let me show you how this works if I can with my limited these are difficult to get on, so hold on. Let's do it. Let me show you. That was about the easiest I've ever done that. Usually I'm like, honey, please hold this one side so I can slip this over. And this is what happened. This is how it is. And what that does, it mutes it. It's muted. And it really, really mutes it even more. Now you take away your articulation and stuff like that, but you still got great stick feel when you're playing. But Mike, how do you convert this to an electronic cymbal? We're gonna go down that path right now. And for those of you who are already in the electronic game, you guys already know this stuff, but a lot of you aren't. So I went online and I found this company called PinTech, and this is a RS5 external drum trigger, and it looks a lot different from the Roland Triggers, right? Look at this. This is all it is. They have a really sticky side right here. And you have your standard jack that goes with any Roland kit, any Roland jack, this will work with Alesis, this will work with Yamaha, any of them. Okay? Provided, I'll be honest with you, there's no setting for the module with these, so you have to mess around and you really got to dial these in. I was getting a lot of double triggering, so I went in and I played and I got rid of the double triggering. I got it very articulate through the headphones, which I was looking for, and I can play and go, wow, it sounds so real, but now it feels real too. So I mount this single trigger, and I'm going to get to a story here in a second. This single trigger right here. And that placement I found was the best placement for my articulation for where I was playing. And I don't play directly on this, mind you. So when I play, I'm playing kind of down here a little bit. And my trigger's mounted right here. But the whole thing's very vibrational. So I'm getting, but now, of course, the more I go to this zone over here, the louder it gets. So it almost can act like a bell. Okay, so a lot of you have, well, a dual setup where you can run a bell. You have a wire for your bell. And this was my plan. So you can tune these in. So I got this one set sensitive, but not too sensitive, so it's over triggering it. And then I was going to take this one and mount this up by the bell in here. And I have two wires, and one's for my bell and one's for the cymbal itself. And I was going to use it as a separate bell. Great idea. It has been done before and it does work apparently, but I wanted to do it for me. Well, guess what? I sit down behind my kit, I plug these in, and I wasn't paying attention, must be for the last few times I played my kit with my regular cymbal. My bell zone is not working. Now, it's not the cymbal, not this cymbal. I'm talking about the Roland cymbal. There is no signal going back to the Roland TD17 or coming out for however it works with the output, rating the cymbal, completing the circuit. It's not there. It's dead. You know, you can pull your jack out and tap it and you can get that little ding, 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 ding sound. It acts like a cymbal even when you touch the end of it. Nothing, dead. I don't know. I went into my settings, make sure everything was turned up. My bell zone just don't work. So I have to troubleshoot that or get a hold of Roland and say, what is going on? Why doesn't it work? And it has nothing to do with these triggers because, like I said, these trigger will work on any one that I plug it in. This can be a regular drum. It can be a kick drum. You can use these for anything. So very inexpensive option without going Roland. I like the Rolands because they look good. They're pretty stout, and I know they're not going anywhere, and I can take them off anytime I want. However, these are sticky, but they're $20 a piece. And I actually think you can get, 5 of them for $78 in a kit, if I remember correctly. So pretty cool thing. Once again, it is PinTech RS5, and they do come with extra sticky pads in case you screw up and mount it someplace you don't want to mount it, which in one case I did already. So this is actually a new pad that's on this one, but it's brand new. So that's pretty cool. Now, speaking of the drum kit, the Ludwig Breakbeats Questlove, and if you're not familiar with those, they're supposed to be a kind of a more of a bop kit, and I don't consider it a bop kit personally. I still think it's a regular size, a 16-inch bass drum. Yes, that is small, but however, you got a 14-inch snare, 13-inch floor tom, a 10-inch tom, and you have a riser. It's they say portability. Nothing really portable about them other than they give you bags to put them in, but you still have all your hardware and what have you. It's still just as much for gigging. Cutting down on the size of 1 inch or 2 inches for your floor tom and a few inches for your bass drum really doesn't change the footprint of the drum set really, because it's still got some depth to it. So it really doesn't change, but it's a good looking kit and it sounds good. It sounds good acoustically and it sounds good triggered. But it was a case where Ludwig kind of slacked on their bearing edges like most companies do, as we've talked about before. Now, it's got a $400 price tag, and you can't bitch at $400. What I can say is, Ludwig, please get rid of those metal hoops and put some wood hoops on it. Other than that, you got it down pretty much, and I can contend with anything. But those metal hoop, let's put it this way. Sawtooth makes a small command kit with a 16-inch kick drum. It's nice and deep, and I've had this kit, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. With really superior lugs and wood hoops and a really heavy-duty riser, and it's a stout kit. They look corny as hell in their pictures. I don't know why whoever's doing their marketing sucks. But in real life, the Command series is an amazing drum kit. It's got great bearing edges. They're nice, thick plies, and you can't ask for more. The lugs are outstanding. It comes with decent heads. Everything works. The difference is they come with a 13-inch snare, but it's a better snare with a better throw-off. It really is. That's $100 more for $500. But for the $400 price range, Ludwig, you can't be beat in this Questlove series for this kit. Now, that being said, if they put wood hoops on this thing, they'd hit a home. People would buy these. They wouldn't be able to keep them in stock. They'd be a home run, because wood hoops on a kick drum, on a 16-inch kick drum, give it that thickness that us acoustic drummers want. They're like little cannons. So let's take a look at the Breakbeats. Now, isn't it beautiful? They call it Sierra Swirl, and it's got a bit of a sparkle to it. And if for you that know drums, it kind of looks, you're getting that. I think nobody ever mentions this. I don't know. I have no clue why. I've been to forums. I don't see anybody ever mention this, but here in your face, everybody, this is a type of oyster pearl look, right? I mean, it seems like they're trying to duplicate at least the feel of an oyster pearl. Now, we can call it I mean, it's like a gray oyster pearl, but they didn't oyster it. I mean, it's got the streaks, but it's more of a sparkle in there. And actually, when you look on the box, it does say sparkle wrap. But the sparkle is different than you would think. It's almost got a texture to it, and it's a beautiful. I love this finish. It is more beautiful in real life than the camera will ever show. And I love the Ludwig mini lugs, and that's a real big thing why I bought this kit. I like the looks of the Ludwigs. I like them. I think their badging on these is tacky. But that's something that, I can change later on. I could drill holes. We can put keystone badges on it, whatever. Very cool. And this was my reason for purchase. It was that I wanted a smaller kit. I wanted a 16-inch kit, and I will put wood hoops on it. I wanted a 13-inch floor tom with a standard 14-inch snare. And I liked this. And I would have bought one anyhow. I would have bought the blue sparkle. But this is very old school and reminiscent of an oyster pearl kit. And I really like it. Ludwig, you did a great job. So on top, what we have is a Remo silent stroke. Listen. Yeah, that's it. It's a silent stroke. You get a little more noise a little more resonance than you do with your Roland toms and your Roland heads, your V heads, but very quiet. And here is our trigger, and this is a dual trigger, the RT30 HR. Great trigger. Now, speaking of trigger, we're going to go all over the place today because I got a lot of things in my mind and a lot of things I want to cover. But what do you think, guys? Leave in the comment section below. What do you think about this? I'll let you guys take a peek. Isn't this beautiful? And Ludwig lugs, something about the design of their lugs is just fantastic. But what a beautiful tom. I mean, it's gorgeous. Okay. Where were we? Oh, Roland Triggers. So Roland states that their triggers will mount on any hoop. Any metal hoop. not, yeah, they'll mount. They don't work properly on every hoop. Why? Because I tried them on these Ludwigs and on that tom right there you're looking at. This trigger was up in the air mounted on, it can go one way. It only sits one way. I screwed it on. It went up in the air. So it wouldn't accommodate this rim on this tom, which was kind of weird because it works on the floor tom. So I tried it in different positions to see if maybe something was out of round with the hoop, and nope, the rim is fine. Wouldn't work. Luckily, I had another rim kicking around, a different one, very similar to the Ludwig rim. It might even be an older Ludwig rim, but it's like brand new. I put it on, and now it works. It just will not work with the factory hoop on the 10-inch tom. Also on the kick drum, on the metal hoop, it does not want to touch on the metal hoop with a kick drum. So what I had to do is put a little piece where you're recessed on your metal hoop, and you have your wrap on the inside, your little strip. I had to shim that up underneath to bring it in where it would touch the bass drum. Works perfectly. This is just a little piece of rubber that's underneath there, nothing to damage anything, and it actually protects it, so that's kind of cool. Now it works perfectly. Trigger also works on the snare and also works on the floor tom. So Roland, one size does not fit all. So let's just make that clear. That is a myth. You may have to come up with something with your if you buy one of these triggers to make it work. So just know that. Now we're going to switch gears. And Timmy, Bob, if you guys are out there, the guitar build, the Les Paul LP style guitar that you guys seen with that beautiful finish I was doing that I just got through drilling out. I set it up the other night and I stringed it. And I wanted to set the intonation and make sure everything was going to play all right before I proceeded. And just wow. I mean, it was really nice. It was really nice. And it gave me the sense of pride going, wow, this thing's going to play so good. Everything was perfect. The neck was perfect. Everything. A nice low action, 0 fret buzz. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more. Especially out of a build kit that was $78. And now they've went up to, I think, $106, just so you guys know. So the $78 thing that was there on eBay's gone. They're like $106. Still well worth it. But even most of the time, I screwed it up. Yes, I was going to take it to a friend's collision shop, really good body guy of mine, and he was going to paint it. We were going to do a root beer sparkle, and I said, well, you know, it's a do-it-yourself kit. Maybe I should just do it myself for the channel so I could show the viewers. When I'm doing, I can do drums, and I finish drums, but I stick to what works. And this guitar, I decided, because I use urethanes and stuff with drums. I don't lacquer anything with drums. It's too much wear and tear on the lacquer. And I went to lacquer this guitar, and I wanted to do a sparkle on the outside edge of gold. You know, that's where, you know, and I get something in my head, and I get stubborn, I get bullheaded, and I'm like, well, it might be a bad idea, but it might be a good idea. And like I said, you got to try it. Because my failures hopefully you can learn something and not do what I did with my failure. And I failed, guys. I failed miserably. Can I fix it? Man, it's going to be, yes, but it's going to be a pain in the ass. I can't show it to you because it's in the other room, still drying. There's a 6,000,001 coats of lacquer on the top of the guitar. I started spraying the lacquer today, and I've tried to do my research. I'm not a lacquer sprayer. I'm not going to lie. I don't deal in lacquer. So I started spraying the lacquer, and spots laid good, and then spots fish-eyed. So I started looking and like, well, lay it in. Eventually it'll flow in, lay it in. So I was giving it it's what they considered their flash time, what I was reading on the instructions, and I'd wait and I'd give it another coat. And while the fish eyes were getting a little bit smaller, they weren't filling in like it should. Oh, I'd let it sit. Let's let it sit a little longer. I'm trying to maintain a pretty good temperature. And the cans are flowing nice. I've got my cans warm and everything's spraying right. Well, I don't know. I just don't have the knack for lacquer. First to admit it, this guy, ding, 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 doesn't have the knack for it. It's not laying right. Now, I've never heard that you can't lacquer over a stain, right? Because that's what we do. I didn't know. Maybe you can't. Maybe you can. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. The dyes I used are water-based, so can't be that. The only other thing that I used was some mid-wax stain. It was oil-based. But the thing is, it only did it around the edge of the guitar, around the edges, which is like uniformly around the edges. So it kind of settled in a little bit, probably after the fifth coat started settling in, but I was getting these divots. And on the fifth coat, it seemed so thick that it started running over the edge. And I got to do the whole guitar, right? But I'm trying to make a uniform coat on the top, and then we'll do the blending around. But this lacquer started to run. Not run a little bit, but run a lot. Well, let's roll with it. Let's just lay it on the top and let it run and build it up and see what happens. I'm going by guessing, goddamn, at this point, and I'm getting frustrated, and my guitar was beautiful, but I did something else because I wanted a gold sparkle to my guitar. And my wife, who's crafty, says, hey, I have some gold glitter. Flake glitter. It would look amazing. And I looked at it. Probably would. Let's screw it. Let's try it. So on one of my wet coats, I sprinkled in and sprinkled uniform. It wasn't a problem getting the glitter on, the flake, whatever you want to call it, on uniformly. Well, the problem is with this gold glitter, and God bless her, she means well, is it wasn't just gold glitter. It looked gold when it was in the can. But when you put its holographic gold glitter, I got done, it looked like Walt Disney threw up on my guitar. It looked like a gay pride guitar. It was a rainbow Mickey Mouse Club catastrophe. And it looks like I should put rainbows and unicorns on the headstock. I wish I could show it to you right now, but I'm kind of embarrassed. So, of course, then afterwards, what am I going to do? I said, well, let's lay another coat of lacquer over it to seal it in, and maybe something will change and the heavens will part. Angels will sing and it'll make it better. It didn't. While I got my last coat on and I got the top level and the lacquer leveled on top, it leveled. I think that that flaky glitter actually gave it something to bite onto, and it leveled out and proceeded to run down my edges in an extreme unevenness and drip. And mind you, I haven't got to any other part of the guitar. So right now, it just looks like somebody took a big sparkly shit all over this Les Paul that's out in the other room. And I am not sad. I'm not happy. So what do I got to do? Well, I have to wait for this lacquer to dry. And if you guys know lacquer, some people wait. There's a lot of coats of lacquer on this thing. And I was I was doing the coats and I was per instruction, So now I have to wait 3 weeks. That's what they say. 3 weeks to sand this thing down and figure out what I'm going to do with it. So we have an awesome playing, horrendously ugly guitar that is embarrassing for Fulton Street Beats, but it's a good story of what not to do. If you're not used to using lacquer, don't do it. Maybe it's the wrong lacquer, and it's probably that is it. Probably it's the lacquer that I used, and a lot of you right now are going, "What'd you use, Mike?" Well, I'm trying to make this build so you at home can do it, because up until this point, everything's been great. The building aspect, I knew I would nail. I build custom drums. I knew I'd nail the building aspect right on the nose, the measurements. I knew I could set it up and get it playing right. The finishing aspect, even the stating and the dying, I've dyed drums before, so I knew what I was doing there. But using lacquer, I've never done. But I want it we want stuff we can go to the store, get hardware store, get what we need, and that's my mistake. I went to the hardware store, said, "You got any lacquer?" Yes, we do. Says it's for use on wood. Perfect. Don't use Rust-Oleum lacquer. So apparently, after speaking with a friend of mine who has lacquered before, he says, yeah, that does not even respond like regular lacquer. You don't want to use that stuff. So Rust-Oleum, why the hell do you call it lacquer? Because apparently it's got different properties. I don't even think it's really lacquer. It just is like a thick clear coat. I don't know. I could be wrong. So you guys will, I don't even know. Maybe I'll show you that guitar. But I'm supposed to do part 3 of this. We got to get it white. After it dries, I'm going to wire it up because it sounds good and show you guys this. I'll have to show you this ugly guitar that plays amazing. That's what I'm going to have to do. So I'm going to give this thing a couple days to at least cure where it's I can handle it. And they say 24 hours, but man, I don't know because nothing's going right. So I might give it a little bit of extra time. And then we'll wire it up. At least we can do that. I can show you how to wire it up, and that should be pretty easy. And as long as the components work, we'll be all right. Okay, now let's move on to something else. Are you ready? Look at this. Remember this, guys? Remember this unboxing? The Bullfighter bass guitar. This thing is sick. It is off the hook and sick. The build quality of this bass guitar is freaking awesome. It looks amazing, and I was like, well, I probably won't play that great. Bull. This guitar plays awesome. This bass guitar is awesome. It sounds awesome. It has awesome action. The neck is fast. This thing's great. The only thing that was garbage on this the first thing I saw was the tuners because it's pitted. So, show this to you again. Look at this Bullfighter bass guitar. Active pickups, by the way. Active pickups. I can't remember. What did I say? $185? I think it was. Look at this thing. Where you adjust your truss rod right in here. Look at the craftsmanship of this bass guitar. And there's your battery bat box for the active pickups. Look at your inlays. Amazing mother of pearl inlays. So everything's really cool with that, but the tuners, I did tune it up. I mean, it's tuned up and it just hold them. I didn't think it was gonna, but they do, but they're just pitted and it kind of irritated me. But man, I'm not irritated because of the rest of the quality. So I said, I'll just order. It's worthy of good tuners. So guess what, guys? Came today. Good tuners. Geiger tuners. And I can tell you they're good before I even open them because I use Geiger tuners all the time. And guess what? They're in gold, Timmy. They're in gold, just like you suggested. I got a sub of mine. Consider him a friend. And he suggested gold, and I said, I'm on board with gold because I like gold. Anyhow, they're in. Let's take a peek at them. Tuners, $45. Guitar, $180. Why would you put $45 tuners on a $185 guitar, Mike? Why? Because this bass is freaking awesome. And by the way, that night when I did the video for this bass guitar telling you guys how much it was on Amazon, guess what? The price shot up. It shot up again. I forget what it was now. Well over $300 before it was all said and done. And then guess what happened? They sold out, and they don't know if they'll be available any longer. So I got extremely lucky with this bass. Yep. How long will I keep it? That's the next thing, because we're always funding new projects. But for right now, I'm having fun with it. All right, hold on here, because I want to save my packaging, and this one's packaged different than the other ones. Come on. There's a piece of tape right there. There we go. Maybe. There we go. They had it packaged kind of backwards. That is more like it. There we go. Look at that, guys. Geiger tuners. Very heavy duty. Very beautiful. The names on them. No pitting on the plating. Nothing. They turn beautifully. Everything's the way it's supposed to be. Gold screws included. Couldn't be happier. Gold washers, everything. These things are really nice. I use Geikers anytime I have to replace tuners because they always work and they're always quality. So if you guys have never used Geiker before, here, let me give you a close-up of the even the words on it. I hope you can see this. I hope you can see it anyhow. Hold on. Looks great, right? Very pretty. So we're going to get these on. I'll get these on later on. I'm not going to do a video on how to put them on because I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We simply take the strings off and put these ones on and screw them back on just like the old ones were. Really simple. No tutorial necessary. This sub is going to be gold and looks so much better. So I think that is about it. I think I covered everything that's... I'm sure I'm forgetting something. You're definitely probably forgetting something. Oh, I have some, if you guys... I have some on my Reverb channel. My Reverb page. If you go to Reverb, I have a Reverb store. And when I'm done, when I review things or whatever, even things that I have, and I have to move on and make room for other things, I place them on Reverb, and 5-star rating, 5-star feedback. I always sell things the way and represent them the way they are. So you guys, if you're interested in things, I have a Yamaha Stage Custom. I believe it's a 14-inch floor tom, I believe. I remember correctly. It's brand new. Played on very little, and I say brand new because it's just, I mean, the head might have like 2 stick marks on it. It's ridiculous. Beautiful Yamaha Stage Custom in a burgundy, cranberry, I think they call it, with a beautiful light wood grain. It's a veneer. They did Yamaha does a fantastic job on their drums. And I also have a 10-inch tom that matches that. That is also a Yamaha Stage Custom that's going to be going on Reverb also for sale. I haven't decided prices yet. I gotta see what the market is, and I'll just undercut it on the market for these particular ones. And just so you know, there's different Yamaha Stage Custom drums. So if it says Yamaha Stage Custom, doesn't mean that they are the same. There's many different years, many different types. I wanted the veneer on mine. That's and it's beautiful. They're beautiful drums. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the kick drum size that I wanted to go with that, which is why I ended up going with the Breakbeats kit, because I could get my 16-inch kick drum. That's the only reason they're getting rid of them. They're basically brand new. I've had them maybe a few weeks. In the bottom head of the tom, on the one, there is a hole through the bottom head that is on purpose with a grommet, and that's so you can run your wire up if you want to run a mesh head and turn it into a triggered tom. So it's a nice little bonus, so you don't have to run wires through your tom itself or take anything apart. Simply run the wire right up through your resonant head, boop, plug it into your trigger. If you're using an internal trigger, plug it into your trigger, or you can put an external trigger on it, however you want to do it. So pretty cool. I just drilled a small hole, put a grommet in it so it wouldn't separate, come apart, and would not cut the wire. And just a little trick I learned, and I'll pass that on to you. There's also some other parts from the Roland on there. I got rid of all the toms. They're gone already, guys. I apologize. My ride cymbal for the Roland kit is gone. I do have some the Roland tom mounts that mount on your cymbal stands. They're on there. Very inexpensive for the pair. And I may have one more of those for you guys, but I'm not sure yet. I got one mounted over here. I'm not really using it, so there's probably going to be 3 available. But 2 I'm selling as a pair. I want to say it's like $72 for the pair. Super nice, super heavy duty. Check it out. My reverb store is Baker Percussion, and then you'll have Fulton Street Beats behind that. So check it out. And guys, I am gonna sign out. I thank you for joining me again. Please don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Subscriber count is going up again because the algorithms have finally kicked in from the channel changeover, and we got some really cool people out there watching. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being you, and I'll be talking to you soon. Thanks for watching, guys.